welcome to another edition of the Walpole Business Spotlight, brought to you through the efforts of the Walpole Chamber of Commerce and Walpole Media Television. My name's Harry Brusades. I'm your host, and I'm also the president of the Walpole Chamber. My guest today is Mark Resnick. Hello, Mark.
Good to be here.
From the Art Craft Company.
Yep.
And as you know, the mission of the show is to bring into spotlight local businesses, local stores, local sales professionals that live or work around this town, great town of Walpole, so our residents get to know more about them, get to make good buying decisions, knowledgeable, informed buying decisions. They get to know, like, and trust these individuals, so everything works out great for both the seller and the buyer. So today, Mark Resnick is our guest again. He's also board of director with the chamber, lives here in town in Walpole.
Correct.
So where are you originally from?
So I grew up on the South Shore, a town called Norwell, down Hingham, Norwell, Situate, Cohasset. I spent first 22 years of my life down on the South Shore. Loved every minute of it. Great town to grow up in. From there, I actually made a long trek from Norwell to Zavarian from my high school. So that was kind of...
I saw that.
You see that?
While you were living in Norwell, you went to Zavarian?
Yes.
And I won't hold that against you because I'm from CM.
That's right. That's okay. it's a good rivalry.
Yep. But that's a great school, great education.
Yeah, it was.
And that brought you off to Fairfield.
Correct. Yep. After 4 years at Zavarian, off to Fairfield, and what a great place! Great place down by the water in Fairfield, Connecticut. Just loved it. Of course, I met my wife there, so that worked out pretty well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What's your wife's name?
Her name's Colleen.
Colleen. Yeah. And children?
I have 3 children. I have 2 teenagers. I have a 15-year-old son, Campbell. He goes to Thayer Academy in Braintree. My middle daughter, Erin, she's an 8th grader at Blessed Sacrament School here in Walpole.
Very nice.
And my little guy is 11, Sean. He's a 5th grader at Blessed Sacrament as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Blessed Sacrament is a member of our chamber as well.
Absolutely.
And I believe you live over in off of South Street.
I do, yep.
Okay.
I live right off South Street.
And I know that you were also involved a little while back with the EDIC.
That's correct, yep.
In Walpole, so that stands for the Economic Development Industrial Commission?
Corporation.
Corporation.
Yep.
Oh, it's a corporation?
It's a corporation, yeah. It was actually chartered through the state government, and it had to be, it's official legislation to be created.
Okay.
The EDIC spends, it's really a redevelopment committee.
So what got you involved with that?
Primarily, to be honest with you, I live right around the corner from the Superfund site, which is the site we were tasked to redevelop or look at options for the town or for private use. I live right around the corner, and it's one of those things that's interesting when you look for a house in that area. All the brokers say, "Oh, and here's the plans that we have set up for this site," and sometime down the road it's going to become this or this, but we're not really sure what it's going to be, but it's going to be great. And sure enough, 10, 12, 15 years later, it's going to turn into something. So
yeah, I was going to say it's come a long way.
It has come a long way. I'm just a newbie on the committee and the town, for that matter. There's been people working on this issue for 30 years probably.
And again, we're going to have the new police station there and the senior center there as well.
Correct. Yeah, looking forward to that. The police station's going to be great. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Close by, and it'll be good for the neighborhood.
That's great.
Sure.
So, and again, at Fairfield, it looks like you were a political science major?
I was.
We called it an English major?
Yep, double major, politics and English. Yeah.
You played hockey for them?
I did. Played 4 years of hockey. Played 4 years at Zavarian, 4 years at Fairfield.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was a good program. Good program at the time.
And you still coach for the Walpole Express?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough. So my youngest plays, Sean. He's over at Walpole Express, over at Rodman Arena.
Yep. Another Walpole Chamber member.
Exactly. Yeah. He's what they call a peewee. I don't know if you know anything about hockey.
I played hockey all my life.
Okay, there you go. He's a first-year peewee, and I'm the assistant coach. We have the coach is the head coach from Dedham. I don't know if you know Kenny Jones, the Jones family.
I don't know.
He's probably...
is that the construction company here in town?
No, different Jones family.
Okay.
Yeah. He played hockey all his career too. He's a great coach, and the kids are very lucky to have him. So
very nice.
I help him out.
So, Norwell, Zavarian, how did you end up in Walpole?
That's a great question. So after Fairfield, I had aspirations, Harry. I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to get into government and politics, follow up on my major. Always very interested in politics and working for the government and just helping people out. So after Fairfield, I actually spent a few months down in Washington, D.C. trying to get a political internship. But as it turns out, Washington, very political town, and it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Is it a swamp?
Well, this is going back quite a ways. At the time, it's probably always been a swamp.
Okay.
For sure it has, actually. But political internships are extremely tough to come by, especially paid ones. They're non-existent.
Sure.
So I spent the majority of my time waiting on tables and the rest of my time filling out applications and just applying all over the place, Capitol Hill, everywhere. But after grinding that out for a little bit, I kind of went home, retooled, and another door opened for me. So before I got into sales, I was in professional fundraising. And I worked my first 7 years at Fairfield University and Fairfield Prep on the campus of the university. And to me, that was a great fit. It was a perfect combination of business and sales. Business, sales, marketing, and relationships, really. Those four things. And it was really just a great fit for me. I just love working with people. I had great mentors in the industry. And I probably would still be doing fundraising today if it wasn't for my dad, who has been in the printing industry his whole life, and at 62 years old said, "That's it. I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to work for myself." And he bought into a printing franchise, printing and promotional franchise, and he did not even know how to use the computer. He said, "I need you."
Okay.
So I left Severian. So to backtrack, to answer your question, I was in Connecticut doing fundraising. And then an opportunity opened up to take a job at Severian, my alma mater. So went from Fairfield, living in Connecticut, back to Massachusetts, and then a couple years into that, my dad came calling and said, let's start a business together. It's pretty cool.
And that was back in '99?
Correct,
Okay.
99, yep.
And so you worked for, it was a Proformer Printing and Promotion?
Yes, Proformer is a wonderful organization. It's actually a very large franchise business. There's 750 of them across North America.
Oh, all right.
And it's unique. Each one is independently owned and operated. So the business owner, really, you get to control the shots. But the beauty is you get the buying power, the purchasing power of having a bigger organization behind you.
So bringing you back to Severian, is that what got you back to Walpole? You ended up just buying property here?
Yep, correct. I was living in Canton. And when we were ready to buy a home, we looked in the surrounding areas. My wife at the time was at Boston University. Doing fundraising as well. And so we just looked, you start close, right? You want to be close to the city.
Sure.
You just kind of back it up, and Walpole was the right place.
I grew up in Dedham, and it's interesting how there's so many ex-Dedhamites that have gravitated out this way.
Yeah.
Walpole, they seem to, we always jumped Norwood because they were a big rival for us. And Norwood's tough to buy in because, as you know, I think it's the highest percentage of people that are born in Norwood, live in Walpole, buy in Norwood, die in Norwood.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Norwood. So anyway, most people ended up in Walpole and then Norfolk, Franklin, but yeah, so great decision on Walpole.
No, great town. Happy to be here.
So let's get into, so when it comes to the printing
and
the promotional products, you were doing it with your dad's company, and then you moved on and started looked into another opportunity, which is where you are now, which is Vice President of Sales at the Artcraft Company.
Correct.
And let's talk about the company itself. Tell me a little bit about the company.
Yeah, absolutely. The Artcraft Company, it's a wonderful company. It's a 75-year-old printing company, primarily. At least started as a printing company. It's a family, third-generation business. And over the years, like most printing companies, there's a demand to diversify their portfolio, to get into other areas, to increase their revenue streams. And promotional branding, probably 10, 15 years ago, became a big hotspot for printing companies. All of them were being asked, hey, you do a great job with our stationery, you do a great job with our printing collateral, can you do this as well? And that ended up being, the requests kept coming and coming for promotional marketing materials. The tchotchkes, the premiums, the giveaways, awards, signage, banners, all that good stuff. So the Artcraft Company really didn't have the solution at the time, and they were looking for the right partner, the right person to come on board to really take that division and grow it and make it a nice complement to their existing business. So the good thing about the Artcraft Company is it's all done in-house. They have about, I think it's close to 10 different printing techniques, and some of them are very unique. The typical when people think of printing, they think of offset printing, which just ink on paper. It's flat when you feel it. It's just your regular stationery that you get in the mail day in and day out. But the Artcraft company really made their name on engraving. Engraved printing is kind of what it sounds like. It's actually using a plate. The ink's on top of an engraved plate, and it stands. It makes the effect that the ink is actually it's standing off the paper. It's a very nice. Candidly, it's a very expensive, but it's a very beautiful printing technique that difficult to learn. You have to be in the craft. It's really one of those things that you have to hone your skills at. So that's where they made their name, is engraving. Stationery, business cards, letterhead, lots of the high-end banks and law firms and specialty retail designers. And that's still our core, still what we do. A lot of what we do is in engraving. But
and I think I was talking to somebody recently, whether it be through other chamber members that we have that do other types of printing, or when everybody thinks about, I need business cards, their first thought is, Vistaprint, or whatever the web company is, and you get 500 cards for $10 or even free.
Correct.
But what's the quality?
Yep.
What's the customer service like? Who are you holding accountable if there's a problem? So if you've got that low end, I was talking to a couple of people, I was mentioning that I was going to be interviewing you. They said, the Artcraft company, well, yeah, they are the top of the line, And I said, so you would go to the Artcraft company then if money was no expense, basically, if you wanted the best finished product to represent your company or your product or your logo, would you go there? And most of them said yes.
Well, that's great. It's great to hear. It is. I'd be remiss if I didn't say, we do work with some of the nicest, best, biggest brands in the world, but we also work with sole proprietors. We work with individual offices and one-person shops. So yeah, we do have an exclusive line in some regard, but more than half of our printing is not that high-end, super fancy, super expensive stuff. We do a lot of account work, so meaning we'll take some of these large banks who aren't going to be paying top dollar, and we take their offices all over the world and we put it into a portal, and anybody can order from anywhere in the country. We make it really seamless and efficient, and our system's automated, so that drives our cost down when we're not talking about that fancy high-end printing. So just to be clear, yes, absolutely, we love the high-end work. We do a lot of social stationery, they call it, wedding invitations. We've done we do things for the White House, the PGA. We do celebrity work. We do invitations for weddings and parties for certain unnamed Patriot players. So yes, we do have a very exclusive and high-end product that we're very proud of, but we do also service and provide products for every level of business.
I know you've done some stuff for us, promotional products and
Absolutely.
some printing, and we are definitely not the high-end budget
Walpole Chamber Conference.
We do what we can. We're all volunteers, and we're all doing our best.
Yeah.
And that being said, as all the board of directors volunteers, and I'm a volunteer, and everybody's doing what they can. I'm always looking for you. Where are you? I need you at a meeting, and you're like, well, I'm off in Chicago, or I'm down in. So you're definitely all over the country, though, working a bunch of accounts, I guess.
I am all over the country. I probably take, not compared to other people, not too bad, but I'll take 12 to 14 trips a year. I typically try to get 1 to 2 a month in. Definitely up and down in New York quite a bit, Connecticut, New York. But yeah, Chicago's a hot spot, DC's a hot spot, Atlanta, San Francisco, Oregon.
Down in Carolina, South Carolina, I think.
Up in, North Carolina, absolutely. A little bit in Florida and Texas. So yeah, we try to get around. We try to see as much face time as we can with customers, for sure.
So one of the reasons why I got my start in sales, let's say, was back in the 80s when a friend of mine's older brother, and as you remember the 80s, it was a booming time. Yuppies, Wall Street was going crazy, people were making money, and he was in printing sales. And I think he used to go around and try to get the jobs for Leachmere or Bradley's or Stop and Shop and do that printing. And he did very, very well. It was somewhat glamorous. And I remember, him telling me, as far as the competitiveness in the printing world, whether it be 5 or 8 people bidding on jobs, and who could get the best price. And I remember, and then so the printing press the printing industry has changed dramatically over the last 20, 30 years. Whether it's gone from, people able to print on their own home computers, probably is just as good as when you could do printing in the 80s and early 90s. But then it's gone to the point where the cost of paper, whether you have to go to Canada or Asia, I don't know. Tell me a little bit about the background of the printing world.
Yeah, the print world has definitely it's definitely changed quite a bit. There's a lot of people who print in this country, in the world, of course. But what happened was, probably in the last 15 years, as technology enhanced, a lot of the small shops couldn't afford to keep up with that demand. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't just go out and buy a $2 million press, or even lease it for that matter, because it was just too much on their cash flow. So we've seen a major consolidation of printing companies in the last 10 years. They're still extremely competitive, especially in the Northeast. But what you're seeing now is similar to other industries, you're seeing a lot of consolidations, a lot of the big companies buying a lot of the smaller shops. Sometimes they're just taking over their account base and moving the equipment to the side. So there's a couple different areas. You see the big boys, the Staples, and a couple of other really big companies just buying up companies. But then you've also seen a dramatic shift to digital printing, digital on-demand printing. In the 80s, the heyday, you'd get an order. You'd get an order for 1 million sheets, a million brochures, 2 million envelopes, etc. And it was just sitting on a shelf. And by the time some of those companies got through their inventory, the logo had changed, which was great for the printer salesman. But now people want to keep their cash flow tight. They want to keep small quantities. They want to do a little bit more on demand. So on-demand printing is actually going through the roof. Meaning, we'll do a lot. We'll do one piece if you want. We'll do 50. We'll do 100. And some of the digital presses they're just unbelievable now. The quality in these digital presses are quite impressive. Similar to your home printer, right? 15 years ago it was grainy, but there are some really nice home printers as well. So we're kind of following that trend. We're better technology, better equipment, and just not everybody can afford to keep up with that. So that's kind of where it's gone. It's definitely, people are much more price conscious, a little bit less loyal in their printing, where they buy from. Everyone, of course, wants to get value for their purchases. You mentioned Vistaprint earlier. Vistaprint has got a place in the industry. Absolutely. There's a lot of small businesses, and that's really good for them. They want the $10 business card. They don't need it to be anything more than what it is for them, a piece of paper, getting out their email or phone number. But as you and I know in our industries, that first impression can be valuable. I know when I take out my card and people touch it and feel it, they go, I want that card. And so, well, you can have that card, but it's $800. That's we put everything into our cards. So, yep, quite a few changes in the industry. But
I definitely would agree that the quality of a card makes a difference. As a personal thing, I hate it when people do different size cards than the normal size business card to be different, because it doesn't fit in the file, the card holders that I have, or something crazy.
Or your wallet, yeah. Totally.
So let's talk about, I think a lot of people would think that, again, the printing age is an ancient dinosaur type of thing. Why do I need to do printing? Why do I need to do newsletters, old school type of stuff, mailings, direct mail, when everything's done on a computer now, whether it be through Facebook and social media, or just pumping stuff out through email, constant contact type of stuff. So tell me a little bit of what your thoughts are as far as old school, building relationships, and how that printing and promotional products fits in with that.
So we'll talk about promotional in a minute, which is my area of expertise. But our emails, our inboxes are just out of control. I mean, we're you know the feeling. You get to the store and you're checking out and 20% off, and can I just have your email? And
sure.
You don't want to be rude, so you give them your junk Gmail account. It's just relentless. And now it's just becoming a fact that sometimes the right direct mail piece, the right printed piece in front of somebody actually stands out a lot more. Whereas 10 years ago, you would throwing out your junk mail saying, this is out of control.
Right.
It's almost become the flip side. The emails are out of control.
Right.
So what we're finding is, again, the smaller run, the more personalized printing we can do, the more successful we are. And that's really true with a lot of businesses, probably yourself included. When you're going to see a new prospect, you could give them the packet folder with all the generic stuff. But what your company's doing and my company's trying to do is we're trying to personalize that packet. So everybody gets their own folder. It's got information catered to them. And that's really what the growth is we're seeing right now, is that personalization, small run, digital or sometimes even offset work. And that to me makes a bigger impression when you're actually trying to customize your presentation. The other thing too is, and it's a dying, I don't know how you want to say it, people don't write handwritten notes anymore. You go to a job interview.
I just got one today in the mail.
Did you?
From a colleague at work, but he's probably in his 60s and does that still.
He does it, yeah.
But first I must it was 2 days of mail.
Yep.
I saw that the manila envelope, handwritten.
Yeah.
First thing I opened.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Without a doubt, it's unbelievable.
Sure.
Whether it's the Christmas card, you're expecting the Christmas card, but you still flip through that and open it first. But personal stationery is still very much relevant, and I think more people should get. The young people especially. It's not even part of their thought process. It's all email. Thank you, Mr. Resnick, for your time, and whenever I get the handwritten note, I put them to if I'm hiring somebody, they go to the top of the pile. Right. They just do. It's just so much more personal.
Yep. So we've talked about, or I've talked about on the show, and you've probably heard me talk about it at some of the Walpole Chamber networking events, that it's really about getting back to basics, building relationships when you want to try to be successful in sales or to promote your business. So it's getting out there, meeting people, shaking hands. But what you're talking about as well is doing the old school direct mail or advertising or point of contact, how many touches before somebody actually will call somebody. So and I know that you talked about the higher level clients, the big clients, but I know I've seen you personally do business with a lot of our members and try to help them build their business. So talk a little bit about that core.
Sure, yeah. That's the beauty of that's one of the, we mentioned my prior place of employment, pro forma. That was one of the reasons why I actually looked at this opportunity to go to the Artcraft company, because there's a lot more ability to get custom, to get personal. There's a lot more support on the back end. As all the small business owners watching this know, you wear so many hats that it's really hard to focus on your customers when you're worried about paying the bills and keeping up with this and that in your email. So actually going to the Artcraft was a huge plus for my business, because it allowed me really to get on the road and be more personal. We work with, I personally work with, some salesmen are only about the big sell, and I just have never been like that. I can't be like that. I don't know how you can operate with, the dollar in mind. If you don't have the customer in mind first and foremost, I think people can see right through that. Sure. I just do. So that's what we focus on at the Artcraft company. I sit down and I don't just take the order. That's anybody. That's what Vistaprint's good at. Sure. You gotta ask them. It's just like in your line of work. You gotta ask the right questions. You have to know. You gotta kind of steer them in the right direction. Maybe they think they want a $5 coffee mug, and then we say, well, you know what? Let's think about this. What are you trying to do here? Are we trying to keep this on their desk for the next year, or is it a one-time giveaway? So the more personal, the more questions we can ask, the more we can cater a proper product for them and for their giveaway.
And just to go back, as it was top of my mind, when it comes to direct mail, are you guys able to help with the mailing lists and things like that? Because I know now some people are trying to take the approach of I just want to market to East Walpole for whatever reason. Maybe my business is on Route 1, and I think just East Walpole is close enough, or the right neighborhood that I want to market to, and that's it, to reduce costs. Are you able to help them and provide those lists and mailing codes and stuff? We
are. Yeah, we're not a mail shop. That is one of the services we do. Okay. But we do buy lists for people. We do put together the collateral that goes with it. Okay. Sometimes we'll do the mailing in-house. Other times we use one of our partners.
And those partners, will they also provide market research and stats to break out that list? Because say if I'm looking for, I want households that have children and married people, or a home value of X, those type of things, those parameters. Yeah,
the lists that you can purchase today are so specific. Income, geography, occupation, head of household, Yeah, it's really pretty specific.
So tell me about the promotional products now.
Let's talk about the fun stuff, Harry.
Yeah,
I mean,
and,
let's,
and we've only got about 4 or 5 minutes. So, and this time went by so quick. It was very interesting, though. What's the hot items on promotional items for businesses, golf tournaments, stuff like that?
So the number one question we get asked is what's new, what's hot.
Yeah.
I'd be a millionaire 10 times over.
I've had enough of the squeezy balls.
Yes, exactly. The promotional product industry, we follow the retail industry pretty closely, but we're behind. So when you see some of the name brand things like a Yeti tumbler, those vacuum sealed hot cold beverage things,
Sure.
Those are very, very popular.
And expensive.
And very expensive. The good news is, and unfortunately for Yeti and those brand names, that there's in our industry that everybody is copying everyone else, right?
Sure.
So you can buy the Yeti for $30, or you can buy something that works just as well. It just doesn't have the name brand recognition for $15. Mm-hmm. So in our industry, drinkware is always going to be pretty popular. Technology is probably the number one most popular requested item. It could be as simple as cleaning your screen on your laptop or your phone. Memory sticks. Whose phone doesn't run out by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? If you're a salesman and
the charger thing.
The charger.
Yep.
They call them
boosters or something.
Exactly. Phone boosters, phone chargers. Those come in all shapes and sizes. Those are very, very popular. Mobile technology, earbuds. Even though people are very particular about what they put on their ears, you're traveling, you're in the car, you lose them. It's like a pen used to be. You'd have a pen and the next day it would be gone. Earbuds and anything little like that technology your kids grab, those are very popular things right now. So those are the two biggies: drinkware, technology, apparel is always going to be big. There's statistics that people own. The average male owns 8 different baseball hats at any one time in their house. I think that's a little low, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, I think we have 50 hats between myself and my 2 boys and my girls. So apparel is a big part of our industry as well. People are always going to need apparel.
So the Artcraft Company is located in North Attleboro?
We're in North Attleboro.
North Attleboro.
Yep, we're in our industrial park.
That's the home office?
That's the world headquarters.
Wow.
That's the world headquarters. Yep, exactly.
How many people employed there, ballpark?
We have just over 50.
Okay.
About 55 people who work there.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. And if best way to reach you, email address?
Yeah, the email is nice and easy. It's Mark, M-A-R-K, @artcraft.com. And that's probably the easiest way.
And the website is artcraft.com as well?
Correct.
You could also go to LinkedIn and find you there. I saw that you've got your website listed, and you've also got the promotional products catalog as well.
Yep.
So people could go on there and shop and think of some ideas and then reach out to you.
Absolutely.
To find out what might be a better fit for them.
Yep.
So I thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. I appreciate all the work that you've done for us as a board of director or a member of the board. You've also helped us out with, again, promotional products. A big thing that I'm going to be hitting you up for is T-shirts for probably Walpole Day or something.
Excellent.
We had a great giveaway for last year for the bumper stickers. Yep. This year I think we're going to want to do something very Walpolean when it comes to T-shirts and get the American flag on there and our logo. But again, I thank you very much for everything you do and the volunteering that you do for the chamber. I know again that you're involved in the town as much as possible, and again, it's everybody that I seem to be getting involved with and seem to have on the show. All of us are giving back, and it really is a testament of, again, what a great town this is and what makes us different, and how we're continually starting to become more looking towards the future and growing this town. While keeping our roots and the historic values that Walpole provides.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, I want to thank everybody for viewing today. Again, it's all about getting this information out to our residents so they're able to get to know, like, and trust more business owners, more sales professionals, and that allows them to make great buying decisions. So thank you very much. Be well, be safe.